You know what, guys? You know who I really hate? Are those people that go out of their way to tell you, I told you so. I mean, who is so full of themselves that they need to make time to show up and tell me that they told me so? Well, guess what, guys? Today, I get to be that jerk. I get to be that guy that I hate. I told you so. I told you all. I told you on the Weekly Poll, our podcast where we discuss comic books and movie-related news every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Like that little plug right there. I also told you on my vlog on this channel when I said my concerns with Marvel's diversity. I told you all. And there are so many people being like, Oh, you just want all the white superheroes back. Oh, you just want all of your classic heroes. What about the other people? What, don't they want superheroes? And I agreed. I agreed with all of you. I was like, yes, we need female leads. We need people of other ethnic genders and other we need the Riri Williams and we need the Miss Marvels. We need these individuals to give us good stories. But my concern, my open concern was that Marvel had pretty much put too much into this basket. They didn't organically build towards this. We didn't get a proper origin for Riri Williams, allowing her to be introduced to Tony Stark and learn about how the armor works, and then maybe a storyline where she figures out how it's built. No, Marvel was shoving these characters and these ideas down your throats, and we got some incredible storylines. We really did. Some of the best stuff that Marvel has put out in the last 10 years. Out of this stuff, we did. We got characters like Spider-Gwen. We got Mighty Thor. We got Laura Kinney as officially taking the mantle of Wolverine. We got Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. We got these characters that I love, and you can even reach further back with our Mexican-oriented Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes, and individuals like that. But my concern, my problem that I had with the diversity was not that we weren't getting it, was not that we needed more superheroes for a new generation to attach to and be able to enjoy, but it was that Marvel was being too heavy-handed with it. They weren't giving the readers a chance to adapt to the changes that they were making, and I was openly concerned that at the rate that they were going to see a major backlash, and the return would be, we're going away from all of diversity. Nobody wants diversity. Well, guys, if you have not been following the comic book news, I'm going to read a quote and who exactly it is. So I'm looking down to look at that, but I don't want to get these quotes wrong. But David Gabriel, the vice president of print sales and marketing, came out and said, what we heard was people didn't want any more diversity. They don't want female characters out there. That's what we heard, whether we believe it or not. That was said by Marvel, that people don't want diversity anymore. They're not listening. We do. We just don't want it to be the entire Marvel line. We want to have some classic characters, but they are claiming that they saw the sales of any character that was diverse, any character that was new, our female characters, anything that was not a core Marvel character, people were turning their nose up against. I don't know, maybe Marvel, maybe putting out 20 books a week, 10 books a week, filling people's... I go buy every book a week, and when you put out that many comic books, and you give me all diverse characters, do you really think they're all going to sell? You cut into your own slice of the pie. You cut into your own. Maybe if you were coming out with them slowly and at a nice pace, allowing me to adapt to the changes and every other person who does not buy every comic book like I do. Maybe then they would have been like, oh, I want to start reading these things. Because I'll tell you guys right now, I buy every comic book every week and I read them all. But if this was not my job, there's a huge chunk of comic books that I'd be cutting out. DC and Marvel, but there's a huge chunk of comic books that I would be cutting out. My budget before I did this, my weekly budget to go buy comic books was $20. That's about 5 to 6 comics. How am I gonna have room to try new things? Anyway, let's continue with these quotes. Let's continue. They said that it was difficult for them because they had a lot of fresh and new exciting ideas that they were trying to get out and nothing new really worked. He then clarified his comments, stressing that new heroes like Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel, the Mighty Thor, Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, and Moon Girl are indeed popular, and they're not going anywhere. They were discussed candidly by some of the retailers at their summit, and they heard that the retailers were not happy with the false abandonment of the core Marvel heroes, and contrary to what was said about contrary to what some said about characters not working, the sticking factor and popularity of the majority of these titles and characters, like Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel, Mighty Thor, Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, and Moon Girl, continue to prove that our fans and retailers are excited about these new heroes. You are right about that, Marvel. We are excited. I love these new heroes. I really do. I love these new storylines. Oh, we have an ad playing. I'm just going to turn that down. Let's see, I'm on the Variety website, and the Variety website's playing an ad. That was weird. Anyway, no, and Marvel is right. If you've been following the weekly poll, or if you guys have been asking me, I've been a huge advocate for all of these new superheroes because I like the idea of exploring new stories and new ideas. I am so tired of Captain America going to fight another villain from the 1940s and beating him down and being the true hero, or Iron Man trying to pick up a girl, her turning him down, finding out that she's a villain, and then trying to make new armor to fight against her. That's pretty much the repeated plot with all of them. But anyway, let's keep going. Let's go ahead and just dive deeper into their comments on this, okay? So, I lost my place in the article, but okay, here we go. So he says that they're not going anywhere, and he continues. Let me be clear, our new heroes are not going anywhere. We're proud and excited to keep introducing unique characters that reflect new voices and new experiences in the Marvel Universe and pair them up with iconic heroes. And that was what I've been saying since the beginning. You could have easily introduced everyone to these superheroes if you paired them up with your classics and eased us into them. Then we would have been excited about them getting their own books and being starring in these books with our main heroes. That's what we wanted. We wanted to see the diversity, but you can't just, it's like a TV show comes back next season and they changed out the whole cast. You're not going to be attached to them. You just aren't. Okay? And that's what I've been saying since the beginning. That if they kept going the route that they were going to have a big backlash, and they were going to be like, nobody wants diversity! We can't make diverse characters! I mean, they're playing it safe right now and saying, oh, we're going to keep making new ones, but do you really think they're going to go back to the legacy characters and still make new heroes? These heroes that we've gotten over the last 3 years, they're just going to start popping up as cameos until they eventually go away. Some characters like Amadeus Cho, I guarantee you, as much fun as that story is, he's going to turn back into Amadeus Cho. He's not going to be a Hulk anymore. And I know that's probably the biggest book that I like to fight for, that a lot of people hate, but I was tired of Bruce Banner, oh my god, I'm turning into the Hulk, let me try and cure it. Ooh, new side effect. Either I'm super smart, or I'm super dumb, or I'm super strong. I was just tired of that. The same stories over and over and over and over. Anyway, they actually do continue, but they're stating that from what this article is reading, and this is the one on Variety, so like I said, I'm reading through an article. I did not see the actual situation with Marvel, but the article is stating that Marvel is now making an attempt to bring more people of color and women into starring roles in the books in the past few years. That if you've been reading comics, we're aware of that. We have the biracial teen Miles Morales, who became Spider-Man in 2011. Sam Wilson, formerly known as the Falcon, picked up the mantle of Captain America. Although the storyline, if you've been following that, the Sam Wilson one is amazing, and it's right now debating if he's going to drop the shield or not, but it's like a really good reason, not like a crappy reason. It's really good. Anyway, Jane Foster became the latest Thor. Riri Williams, a 15-year-old black woman, suited up as the newest Iron Man. She goes by Ironheart, and Kamala Khan, the Pakistani American from New Jersey, is Miss Marvel. They have all stepped into the spotlight of their own series, but there are other characters, like we have Spider-Gwen, who is and Spider-Woman had her own book, but that got canceled. But we have Spider-Gwen. She's a Spider-Woman in that kind of a situation. We also have the Wolverine situation where Laura Kinney took over as Wolverine. I'm trying to think in a hurry in my head here, and I can't get any more out there, but I know there are a ton of them because I've been reading them all, and I do enjoy them. And while I do get upset about some storylines, like the Champion storyline that completely ignored the superheroes and followed a small-town sheriff as he stood up to a racist sheriff, I was like, why does this story exist? This is not a Champion storyline. While I do have my arguments about some of these storylines, overall, I liked the diversity because I don't care about Marvel. I don't care about DC. I don't. What I like are solid storylines, be it Marvel, be it DC, be it IDW, be it Boom or Valiant. I like solid storylines. You give me a solid storyline, I will back whatever you want to do. And that's what I was doing with Marvel. But the problem is they stopped having solid storylines and they started just having, we're just going to be diverse for the sake of it, as opposed to giving us a solid storyline about good characters and how they're being introduced into the world and how how they can be carrying on a legacy. It's amazing, and it's funny because this all happened on this weekend, and the Wednesday right before this, DC just had an issue about the Titans dealing with legacy and trying to take over from the Justice League. I did a video on that. You can watch it over there. But guys, I want to know your opinions. I really do. And this is a hot topic. This is really a hot topic, and I wasn't going to make this video today, but we're not doing the recap this week because it's a week 5, so there's not a lot of comic books that came out in general. So a week 5 is always a wonky week. Normally comic books pan out for a 4 weeks release cycle. So if a 5th week happens in a month, they don't really put out too much. That's normally when you see all the annuals drop at the same time, and they're all solo storylines. But anyway, that's why we're not doing the recap, which meant I had a little bit of room in the schedule today. So I wanted to get your guys' opinions. I want to know what you think about these statements. I mean, we know that this is not right. They're wrong. Yes, Sales have in general gone down. I will not deny that, but they have been going back up steadily. And I think what Marvel needed to do was keep this going. They've already done it. They've already abandoned all of the legacy heroes. They did it. So they went with that really ballsy move. So they needed to just ride it out now and pick up those new fans. But I feel like at this point now they've basically alienated all the classic fans, and they didn't give it enough time to pick up the new fans. So now they're looking at it as this stuff didn't sell. DC Rebirth is kicking our butt in sales right now, which they legitimately are. The only thing in the top 10 for Marvel right now is Star Wars books. And what is Star Wars books doing? They're going back to the classic. They're doing the legacy, and they're introducing new characters. If you want to look for an amazing, strong female lead, read the Dr. Aphra book that's in the Star Wars universe. That book is amazing. I love that book. But anyway, I'm going off topic here. I've got a lot of energy, and I got a lot to cover, but we already did. We covered it all. It's all over. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you agree? Are you just tired of diversity and you just want them to go back? Do you feel like they should have, at this point, now that we're at this point, they should have just wrote it out? Or do you feel like me, like they should have been pacing it out all along and we could have eased into this and no one would have had any problems with it? I really want to know your guys' opinions. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below, and be warned right now, the comments down below will probably be a minefield, because whenever we talk about diversity in comic books, it always turns into a minefield, everyone being on different sides. But that's what makes discussions fun, when people have differing opinions. If we all thought the same way, then it would be a very, very boring, just like, community of people. I wanted to say other stuff, but that wouldn't work at all. Anyway, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. We can discuss all the stuff you want to at Comicstorian. You can also follow me on Instagram, where I do chat with people. I do keep saying go to Instagram, but I look at the comments on the photos, guys. I don't actually accept random requests because I get like 100 a day. So don't send those and get mad. But if you do a comment, I look at those. Anyway, I'll see you guys later right here at Comicstorian.